Oh boy, am I hungry. I want fries, a hamburger. No, make that 2 fries. You want anything? What's your special today?
Episode 8. I've got a couple of questions bouncing around in my head right now. One is, you mentioned using Google Sheets. And so what technologies were in place when you started working at Wahl that you've kept because you like them? And what have you changed since you've been working there to improve things?
Well, when I started, Derek had just gotten rid of one of the builder programs that prompts the subs and everything that, this is coming and all that. I think, honestly, because every time he made a change, it would send all new emails to everybody. So
Like
people,
a builder trend or something
yeah,
like
exactly,
that?
where people were getting just like barrage of emails.
Yep. Oh, I've gotten the flooring change emails I don't know how many times, and well, I think that doesn't affect me much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of what Derek did before, which I don't know honestly how he did it before, because I take so much of that away from him, and he's still like crazy busy.
Yeah.
And I guess it gives him time to be home with his family at night instead of at the office. But we have so much it was in Derek's head, or just handwritten in like a file.
Yeah.
Where I've put everything into the spreadsheets, each job, into the overall views, and everything. So, which I think Derek likes it, and I definitely do, because the stuff in his head was difficult to deal with sometimes.
Right.
And then,
telepathic business management.
Exactly.
Yep.
And especially when we have a showroom for our houses, and when the custom home customers come into the showroom and pick out all their windows and their doors and their flooring and colors and all that, cabinets, it's a lot easier to put them into a program.
Right.
And as far as other programs, I've been kind of playing around with going back to like a CRM program,
Yeah.
and they're just difficult to find for individual.
For a smaller business.
Yeah, because the bigger ones are really neat. Like I used one called Sage, which was a really cool program.
Yeah.
But it's just impractical for single use.
Yeah.
And a lot of the single use ones are built around like telemarketers, so they're not really applicable to our business.
Right.
And so I've been looking. So that's something new that decided I want to go back to.
Have you found anything that stands out at this point?
No, actually I haven't.
Okay.
Most of everything I found was kind of, like I said, kind of pushed toward telemarketers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so still looking.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if anybody has any ideas, let me know.
Sure. Yep. Leave comments below. Yep.
But we've been like building our showroom, which is, we've found out that there's a lot of suppliers are more than willing to, even though we don't directly buy from them, but they're willing to give us displays and to make the experience better for the homeowner.
Yeah. Yep.
And which is a lot better than doing it out of the backseat of your truck. And when they can come in, sit down.
Right.
And so we're working on more and more.
Yep. How do you guys manage getting your home plans and communicating with your different suppliers and subcontractors and that sort of stuff regarding plans specifically?
More Trab. No.
Yes. That's what I want to hear.
We used to use one of the lumber yards, take like printed plans, they'd scan them in,
Yep.
Email them back. We get more and more plans now that are electronic to begin with, so
Yep.
that works out fine.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually right at this time. We're actually getting a plotter in the office,
Okay.
so we don't have to count on somebody else
Right.
to do it for us. And we so I email everything,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a few subs that still want printed plans.
Yep.
And so if they're local, they come get them from me. If not, then they have to go print them.
Right. Right. Do you guys do any plan drawing or engineering in house, or is it all having your customers bring stuff to you? How does that
No,
work?
yeah, Derek hand draws stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then we send it off to an architect and an engineer
Yeah.
to get it, and we engineer everything
Yep.
now.
Yep.
We didn't always,
Mhm.
but with the state of Ocean Shores and the building in Ocean Shores, it just benefits us just to get them engineered. It costs a little more money, but
Yeah.
and then we don't have to worry about stuff coming back from the city.
Right. Right.
And
Just streamlines that process essentially.
So we we are looking at more and more like things like 2020 that we use for like cabinetry, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But it has the ability to actually do plans, stuff like
Right.
that. So I know we're kind of looking into that. But we have probably, I'm trying to think, where I just redid the plan shelves, but we probably have 30 sets of plans
Yeah.
that are ours.
Mm-hmm.
And so so a custom home person that doesn't know what they exactly want, we can lay some out for them and get ideas.
Right.
We certainly have people that bring stuff into us that they got off of, plan services online and
Mm-hmm. A cinder block plan from Florida.
yeah, exactly.
Yep. Perfect for the Northwest.
And they have, and it's interesting though, because there's people that will just hand draw a custom plan for about the same price
Oh, okay.
as buying those plans,
Mhm.
and then it truly is a custom to you. I mean, it's just the
Yeah.
things you like.
So if someone is out there looking for a set of plans to build off of, it would potentially benefit them to do a little shopping locally before they just click the add to cart button on the
Yeah.
online stuff.
Yeah, and you can certainly, we encourage people to look at, go through those plan sites. There's a million homes designs out there,
Right.
and just find things that they like. Like I really like the way this looks or this floor plan, and then we just take it and we draw it out, send it to architect, have it, turned into a real set of plans and engineered.
Right.
So it's rare that you have somebody that comes with everything. This is our plan, but it happens. We're doing one right now that was that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but that's all part of, I think, updating our game in the sense of the tools that are out there for us, using
Right.
them instead of doing just old school stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That's in the construction industry. I think rightly so. We've kind of been accused of being the slowest industry to adopt new technology, and man, it's so easy to just work in your comfort zone and keep doing what works until your neighbor starts doing something better, and then you kind of get forced into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously in Shores, some of there's a lot of vacation homes
Mm-hmm.
that are built there,
Yep.
which this is not a good market for right now. And fortunate for us, we don't build vacation homes. We can if somebody wants one built, they're
Right.
custom, but typically we build family homes.
Yeah.
And
What's the difference between a vacation home and a family home?
I guess it depends on how much money you have. 'Cause we've built small family homes and we've built big vacation homes. But typically in Shores, the vacation homes are 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, shed style.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's guys still building them there, but their market is fallen hard because people don't need to buy a vacation home when the
Right.
interest rates are high.
Yeah.
And where if people need a family home, they need a family home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you buy it at if it's 8% interest and the interest rate falls, you just refi.
Right. Yeah.
And if it doesn't fall, well, then you did good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think that's why we're busy. I think that's why other custom home builders that build family homes are busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That market's still there.
Right. Right.
And as people are escaping Portland and Seattle
Mm-hmm.
that can work out of their homes, there's a lot of things to offer.
Yeah, it's an attractive area if you
Yeah.
can, essentially live where you'd want a vacation anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So, what if you could flip a switch and just make a change to the industry or how you do your job? What do you think? What do you think that change would be?
Well, I would say first would be to use the tools that are out there, be able to make a quick change to be it CRM programs or be it more use of 2020 stuff that would just make our job easier
Yeah,
and more professional too. You can send out better proposals and versus sending out things that you see that are handwritten and
Yeah.
it's not as professional.
mm-hmm.
So I think that would probably be the big thing would be to have things electronically where you can do things through Photoshop and other things that that aren't typically used in our side of the industry.
Right, right. Do you think there would be additional benefits gained just outside of the aesthetics of it? When you talk about using electronic methods, I think of more rapid communication. Maybe changes could be made more quickly across a range of trades that would be affected, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think for sure that we talked about that one program that Derek used, and it could make changes really fast, but it wasn't quite. I don't think it was quite there,
Yeah.
at least for our use.
Mm-hmm.
I wish more and more subs would be able to do everything electronically.
Right.
And just like you said, makes things so much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but it's still a change in our industry,
Yeah.
and there's definitely people that are slow to that change.
Right. Right.
And I really think they miss out too, because if they ever played with these things, they would find out that they work really well.
Right.
And but as far as giving better instruction to say the sider and what the house is going to look like, or if you could actually give them an electronic picture that shows the exact layout
Yeah.
of what goes where,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a lot easier than saying it and then come back and say not like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've heard of technology. I haven't seen it in use, although I've talked to people that are using it. Things like laser etched subflooring. So your layout for the house is already on the subflooring when it shows up, and you have a map of where all the pieces go.
Wow.
Stuff like that. That's kind of taking it to a next level, and I don't know how available that is in this market, but yeah, just things like that help communicate. You're talking about the cider, letting them know, this is how it should be laid out. This is what it should look like. My mind went to essentially a puzzle where, or paint by number. Every piece has a place where it goes, that sort of thing. And maybe that's a little bit further than what you were thinking when you said it, but
Yeah. Sometimes with us, I would just, if we had just an actual, computer generated picture
Mm-hmm.
that showed the house thing, showed the gables, showed what, the shingles in the gables, belly band here,
Right.
post wrap here, that kind of stuff, and then it's just and it doesn't even matter on the language barriers or anything. It's just a matter they can just literally look at a picture and go, okay, I know what goes there.
Yeah. So, I hear pretty regularly, and of course we fight with it here as well, just the finding skilled labor and an adequate supply of it. Do you think that, you talked about language barrier, would having information like that make it easier to find labor to get the job done, do you think? Or
I don't know. Labor is definitely an issue. We, like us building 2 homes a month is taxes a lot of subs,
Yeah.
smaller subs, which we tend to like because the guy that owns the company is on the job, and he's actually pounding nails or whatever, painting, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And versus them having multiple crews where some crews are better than other crews. And so but we almost need sometimes some of our people, sometimes electrical, where they almost work for us. We're the only work they can do and to be able to keep up.
Right. Right.
And so we're, I guess, always looking. And trying different avenues, trying different ways to go. We'd love for everybody to be local, not have to pull anybody from outside the market, but that's just not reality.
Right.
And as far as us having more technology on that side, probably it would only help if they would actually even get that far with a conversation with us. I can't tell you how many subs that I've called that are just not interested. And then that was in the fall, and now that things are slowing down, now they're calling us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
minds are opened up a little bit.
Yeah. Which we tend to be less excited about those people.
Right.
Because if the market gets better, they're just going to go back to what they were doing before, or.
Yeah.
And we have a certain amount of, I'll say, kind of trade secret stuff that we do, and that we don't want to teach somebody, then have them go use it for somebody else.
Right. Right.
And so it's a problem sometimes, and we do. Labor is a real issue, especially on the specialty things like siders, and
right.
Everything in our market, everything is of course is hardy, and you do it good and it looks great. You do it bad and it doesn't look quite so good.
Right.
And if it's on somebody's custom home, they're going to be less excited about it too.
Yeah. Maybe pretty particular. They're paying a lot for that, and it's well within their rights to expect it to look good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So breaking out the crystal ball a little bit.
Okay.
What do you see as the best opportunity in our industry going forward, and what do you see as our greatest challenge?
As an opportunity for anybody wanting to come into our world?
General contractors, people who want to build here in the Northwest.
Well, as far as GCs, it's kind of a weird thing in the state of Washington, because you can just go, as long as you got the money, you can be a GC. Right. Where I came from a state that wasn't that way. It took quite a bit of time to get your GC license. So the term GC is a tough one, because there's guys that don't know a lot that have a general contractor's license, right, and that are essentially just handymen. And then there's people that are truly, good builders. Right. I think the opportunity for right now, for me, would be to specialize as a sub and get good at what you do, be it siding, painting, drywall, flooring, whatever. And because I guarantee you there's builders looking, and there's some builders that are always looking because they pay poorly, or they push a schedule that is very hard to keep. Yeah. But there's a lot of good builders out there too that are looking, that pay well, that want it to be partners with these people, to give them the opportunity to make money as we make money. Yeah. And so I think that's a huge opportunity for people, is not just jump into get into GC's license and just work on a trade. It used to be that was what everybody did. Right. And that seems to be less and less all the time now. Yeah. I think one of the biggest hurdles we have is probably stems from the same thing, is that there's a lot of people that are out there making the whole industry look bad by either not doing good work, silly things as far as not returning phone calls to people. Right. And one of my things I do is I kind of scour the social media for things that have to do with our company and building in general in our area. And one of the number one complaints I see from people is that people never call them back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that when somebody does call them back, they're all excited, and which is kind of weird, just because he didn't build him anything yet. He just answered the phone.
Right.
But so I think that's one of the hurdles and it's people are starting to recognize now that was a hurdle, because as things tighten up, as the work starts falling away, when things are crazy busy, and that gave a lot of the marginal contractors work, because they're the only people they could get.
Yep.
And where that's not the case now. Like I said, we have subs calling us now. Yeah, I remember when you talked to us, a year ago, whatever. And and we're less likely to want to pick those people because they never started a communication with us.
Right.
And we're perfectly fine with somebody saying that we're so busy right now we couldn't get to you till August.
As long as they actually say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just not returning calls and stuff like that is a real problem. And I think that those people that do that kind of process are going to really suffer as the market gets tighter.
Sure.
So that's the world according to Steve.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see here. I'll break into a couple of these questions. And here's a good one. What's the most daring thing you've ever done?
Well, I've done quite a few kind of daring things, I guess.
Yep.
One is driving a race car, which I know you know well. Because I don't. People
we had a lot
that
of
know.
fun.
Chad was my co-driver, so.
Yep.
And we had a lot of fun at it and had some excitement.
Yep.
So that was pretty exciting. I scuba dive, so I've done some pretty interesting scuba dives before, deep stuff.
And now, not to cut you off, but I haven't scuba dived, and I've heard that the Puget Sound is one of the best places in the country to scuba dive.
I've only dove in the Sound one time, and that was before I moved here. It's kind of that joke about I live at the beach and I hardly ever go to the beach.
Yep.
But it's definitely different because in dry suits and the water's cold. But there's definitely things that you see that you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
My wife dives with me. She's definitely a warm water diver. So
where do you guys typically dive at?
Like Bonaire. I like Belize a lot.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. We've gone to the outside of in the Bahamas. There's an area that is where they filmed all the Pirates of the Caribbean. All these chains of islands.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. And you're on a liveaboard, the small liveaboard. Yeah. And you're just sort of immersed into and they've been wildlife refuges for years. So they're really pretty spectacular.
Yeah. That sounds pretty amazing.
So those are fun.
Yeah.
And I don't technical dive anymore, which I used to. My wife's not a big fan of me taking those risks. So, and I think as you get older too, you just kind of have to settle down a little bit.
Oh man, admitting it is hard.
Yeah. But I would, I've done some really deep dives that were pretty risky. But I would say the risk versus reward would probably fall back to the race car.
Yeah.
Because it can be spooky at times, but it's sure fun when it's over.
Made it through that one. Yep. Awesome. What would you say is your proudest accomplishment?
I would say my proudest would be my family. Certainly my wife.
Yeah.
And that there's hardly a day that goes by I can't believe that she chose me. And then just being being someone that I work hard at, being a man of my word and stuff, which is, is consider a good accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. What motivates you to work hard?
Certainly to have the things that we want. So for our family, and we live in a beautiful home, and we have nice cars, and we do fun things, and those would not be able to happen if I didn't work hard.
Right.
Same with my wife. My wife's a nurse, which are very hardworking
She's a
people.
hard worker. Yep.
And then some of it is just how I was brought up by my dad.
Yeah.
And so that even though my dad's passed away, I still think that there's times where he would have been like, nah.
You hear that voice. Yeah.
So that does motivate me.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. So I've asked you a whole bunch of questions over the last almost an hour, and while you had food in your mouth and all that sort of stuff. Is there anything that you'd like to ask me or tell me, or a question I didn't ask you that I should have?
Well, I had a question for you would be, obviously I know you, and I know your personality type, I guess, is what do you and your company, what do you do differently than others that you think? Right.
Boy, this sounds like such a sales pitch. I hate to sound corny, but what I see in the component market is, for a little bit of history, I've been in the truss industry since 1990, so a few years. And the way I remember it was a lot of independent companies. Probably not a whole lot different than lumber dealerships, that sort of thing. So every town had a couple of independent independent component manufacturers, and especially since the recession, there's been a lot of consolidation, a lot of larger manufacturers combining with other large manufacturers, and so less and less independence. And what I hear from my clients is that we give them attention that makes them feel like they are important as an individual to our company, and that's what I'm striving for. So as an independent component manufacturer, continuing to remain independent, providing the kind of customer service that you just can't get from a larger store that has more bureaucracy and stuff like that. And then additionally, over time, providing more product lines so that that experience can be had in more areas than just roof and floor trusses. And as you're aware, we do wall panels now as well. We started out just with residential, but we've moved into light commercial and multifamily on that as well. And next in line will be another product line that we can manufacture and help reduce the labor constraints on the job site by just helping things go together, quick and easy.
Now, do you find that your mix is changing of single family home, NHC work versus multifamily and commercial?
Yeah, absolutely. Over the last couple of years, our single family to multifamily mix has adjusted from probably multifamily and commercial. So we were probably 90% single family and accessory buildings, and 10% commercial and multifamily, and that's definitely shifted to probably a 70-30 or maybe even a 60-40 over the last couple of years. And that's, I think, a shift that pretty much everyone in the industry has seen is less single family. Just the permits aren't being pulled. Yeah, and interest rates have been a big driver on that.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Good questions.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, any parting words?
No, I enjoyed it. It was
Good,
fun.
good, yeah. If anyone listening to this or watching it wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
They can email me,
Mm-hmm.
which is steve.wahl, W-A-H-L, customhomes@gmail.com.
Awesome.
You can email me.
Yep.
And can also, we have a website too, which is just Wahl Custom Homes. You can go through that too.
Great, yeah. Okay, well, I've had a great time as well. Learned a bit about you that I didn't know in the past, and all awesome stuff. So again, this is Northwest Builders Lunch Hour. We are hosted by Truss Components of Washington here in Tumwater, Washington. And our goal by doing this podcast is that we would provide some benefit to you, hopefully some ideas or tidbits that can help you conduct your business in a more profitable and enjoyable way. And hopefully this has been entertaining as well. Thanks again, Steve.
Thank you.
I had a great time, and we'll call that a wrap. Thanks for joining us for lunch, and we'll see you next time.
This meal was brought to you by Truss Components of Washington. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next hot dish. And feel free to invite a friend for lunch next time.